Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about what to pack for Iceland. Iceland is a stunning country. In fact, it was one of the most jarring experiences of my life to travel there. It's like the landscape is almost like you're walking onto a different planet. It's a volcanic island and there's black sand everywhere. There's lava formations. There's strange vegetation growing out of the lava rock and the ground is hot. It's absolutely one of my favorite places on the planet, but visiting such a unique and remote area does require some pre-planning. So today I'm going to show you exactly what I packed for my trip to Iceland. And this one's going to be a little bit unique because when I went there, I only brought a backpack. Despite the fact of needing multiple different layers and hiking boots and coats, I stuffed everything into a backpack. And so today I'm going to show you some of the key items that I brought that helped me do that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first, I highly recommend bringing a microfiber or a easy to pack towel. This one from Dock and Bay is really great. I brought this one to Iceland and as you can see, it's pretty small. So it fits nicely into a carry-on, or if you're bringing a suitcase, that will work too. See, it folds here and then it unfolds into a full-size towel. It's a little bit on the thinner side, but what's nice about this is that it does, like I said, fold easily into your bags, which is key here if you're looking to pack lightly and have a number of different things that are going to be useful for your trip to Iceland. If you do happen to go to a beach there, this one is sand resistant, so if you just shake it out, the sand won't stick to the towel. I also like this one because it is 100% recycled, so it's good for sustainability too. So why do you need a towel if you're going to Iceland? If you go to Iceland, you're gonna see that there's a lot of geothermal activity there. There are quite literally pools that are heated sometimes to boiling temperatures, but for the more milder temperatured springs, you can actually take a dip in them and swim around and just relax. I loved that. That was actually the highlight of the trip for me. But in that case, you're gonna wanna dry off pretty quickly because it is very cold once you get out of the water. The next thing that you're gonna wanna bring is a puffer jacket. Something with down feathers is going to be a bit warmer and lightweight, so you can easily layer, wearing a couple of different clothes under it if you prefer, or just wearing this with a thermal top. When I was walking around Reykjavik, I found that it was pretty chilly, and so I was wearing the puffer jacket, and then when we went out further from the city, it was very, very cold, and so I was layering this puffer with a sweater and a scarf. The thing that I like about this one is that, as you can see here, it comes with a bag and it is packable. So this is pretty small. I mean, you could even smush it a little bit more and then stuff it into a backpack. Remember, this is all about packing light for your trip to Iceland. So I think that this will be a really good addition for you. I also found this to be quite warm. Plus, I'm always happy to report when products are durable, and I brought this with me to Peru as well and hiked up a couple of mountains with it. I found this one to be very, very warm and comfortable. So the other thing that you want is to bring some thermal layers. Thermal layers are essentially long underwear. You wear them under your leggings or your hiking pants or your top, and they're basically just to give you an added layer of fabric to keep you warm. I personally really like to have a silk underlayer. Silk is a natural fabric and it does tend to be fairly warm. So for example, I have these leggings here. They're kind of hard to show you. And they're also, as you can see, a little bit tattered because I've been wearing them for a long, long time. But I find that these are super, super warm if you wear them under a pair of leggings. And the nice thing about silk, aside from the fact that they're warm, is that it's really thin. So believe it or not, if you have these under leggings, you almost can't feel that they're there. So I like that. I think that this pair is really nice. You're also going to want some hiking pants that can convert into shorts. When I went to Iceland, I brought just regular hiking pants, which were fine, but Like I mentioned, the temperatures in Iceland can be pretty drastic. So if you're hiking around on a mountain, you're going to be very, very cold. But if you're in the city or at a geothermal spa, you could potentially get warm. So I would recommend getting some hiking pants that you can zip at the knee and convert them into shorts if you need a little bit of ventilation. My trusted hiking pants are these, and I bought them on Amazon. I find them to be very, very comfortable, but the one downside is that they do not zip. So this is a learned lesson for me. When I was in Iceland, I found that I was changing temperature so much that it was kind of hard for me to deal with just a long pair of pants. And then added with the silk layer, it was really, really hot on some occasions. Next up are a pair of polarized sunglasses. I unfortunately don't have a pair to show you today because I broke mine, but the polarized sunglasses do make a huge difference if you're under the sun. The sneaky thing about Iceland is that because it can be cold, even though it's a very bright sunny day, you almost have the idea that the sun is not that strong, but actually it's very, very strong even though it's cold. The polarized sunglasses will just protect your eyes. Now, the other thing that's really important is a neck gaiter. A neck gaiter is basically like a scarf that's a little bit more fitted. Typically, these are made with a type of material that's a little bit stretchy. I originally bought this neck gaiter when I was going to Peru because I was gonna go to the desert and I knew that it was gonna be very, very windy and expecting there to be some sand coming up and maybe hitting me in the face. I just wanted to have something to protect my mouth and my nose. But then when I went to Iceland, I wore this and I found it to be very, very warm and a little bit more convenient than a scarf. Scarves are just a little long and bulky, and sometimes they can be awkward to wear, especially if you're hiking and you just want to take off a quick layer because you're getting hot. So I found this to be nice and small, easy to pack, easy to stuff into your pocket if you want, but you can also throw it on really quickly if you're getting too cold. Now this one I know is not that sexy, but you've got to bring wool socks. Try to go for 100% merino wool. I've just found that if you are hiking and you don't have wool socks, your feet can get cold really, really quickly. So the socks that I bought, again, are 100% merino wool. I find them to be perfect. I try to avoid synthetic fabrics on clothes in general, but especially if you're looking for temperature controlled clothing, like clothing to keep you hot or clothing to keep you cool, you want to avoid certain types of fabrics because some of them don't retain heat very well. And unfortunately, polyester is one of those. I just find that if you wear a wool sock, your feet are going to stay warm. At least in my experience, that's been the case. And so I am kind of a grandma. I've always got my wool socks whenever I go hiking somewhere, and it's like the first thing I put in my backpack. So now, keeping in mind that Iceland is Iceland, when you walk outside, it can be a roll of the dice sometimes. You might start off the day with beautiful sunny weather, and then all of a sudden clouds will roll in and you'll have a huge snow shower. That's just Iceland for you. So you definitely want to have some waterproof boots. I have a pair of Timberlands that I really love, but I have recently been looking into getting some Columbia ones because I need to get a new pair. The Timberlands, although they are waterproof and very comfortable now, they were very, very painful to try to break in. And so I'm in the market for something that's going to be maybe a little bit more comfortable just from the beginning. And I've heard that the Columbia option is very nice. With that, you're also going to want some shoes that are going to be comfortable to walk around Reykjavik or surrounding towns with. Sometimes you might not want to walk around with clunky hiking boots, so if you have another pair of waterproof sneakers, that could be good too. Now, on your trip to Iceland, you're gonna want to take a lot of photos. I highly recommend you bring along a camera that you are comfortable using and bring along a tripod, which I'll explain why in just a moment. But let's start with the camera. So the camera that you choose is ultimately going to be up to you, your price point, and your comfort level in using them. I personally have never really been the best photographer on the planet. I mean, I certainly love taking photos, but I'm not a professional by any sense. I really wanted to have a good quality camera that I knew I could rely on to take good photos, even though maybe my skill point was not the best. I also wanted a camera that was going to be lightweight and easy to carry around. So I went with a mirrorless camera, and I found that that was a really great option because it's mirrorless, so it's more lightweight and it takes very great photos, even at an intermediate photographer level. So I'm very happy with my purchase there. The reason I suggest you bring along a tripod as well is that if you're going to be going to Iceland, you're probably going to want to see the Northern Lights. Taking photographs in the evening can be very difficult, and you're gonna want to make sure you stabilize your camera. Since the light level is lower than it is during the day, the shutter speed of your camera might go slower, and so that will create these kind of long stretches of light in the frame. You might like that. That's certainly a beautiful shot too, but if you want to try to get a consistent, steady shot, you're definitely gonna need something to hold your camera in place for a while. So the tripod is essential. I have a couple of options for tripods. My personal favorite is this one. It's kind of funny like how I have it right now, but this is just to give you a demonstration of what this can do. It's literally a tripod that's flexible. So you can unbend the feet and you can like twist it around like this, you can pull it around like that. And what's great about this is that you can put this on any surface. I mean, I've put this tripod like wrapped around stairwells, like on the railing like this. I've wrapped it around a tree and I've also just like put it like this flat on a table. So you can do a whole bunch of different stuff with this. I think it's an essential for solo travelers. So if you're going anywhere by yourself and you want to take photos of yourself, you know that you're gonna get like the best angle from like a tree 5 feet up, you know? So this just makes it possible to get that shot. If you want something a little bit more structured, there are of course regular just tripods that don't have bendy legs. You can always get one of those too. Now let's talk about skincare really quick. And it's not just because I love skincare, and I mean, I do, definitely, but this is something really important because I was not expecting Iceland to be as dry as it was, and it was a total shock to me how the wind and the air just completely dried my skin out pretty much from the moment that I stepped foot on the island. So if you are someone like me who has typically sensitive skin, or let's say maybe on the drier side, you're definitely gonna wanna have a good quality moisturizer when you go there. I brought along my regular moisturizer. I did not find that it was good enough, to be honest. I ended up having to take Vaseline and putting it on my cheeks here and here even, just so I wasn't going to be getting like rashes from the wind, because that's how strong the wind was. I have a couple of different moisturizer options on my Amazon storefront, so you can take a look there. I typically go for lesser ingredients, and I also really like K-beauty. It's not just because I lived in Korea. I tend to like the ingredients being used in K-beauty products and find them to be a little bit cleaner, and I think that they tend to make a little bit more sense for me because I have sensitive skin, but that's just my opinion. You gotta make sure that you pick something that works for you and that you're happy with. So feel free to check it out if you'd like, but if you have some recommendations as well, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Now, remember what we talked about with the sun being very strong and seemingly not so strong because it's cold. So with that, you're also going to want to bring a good SPF. I started getting these SPF sticks from AHC. This is another K-beauty brand. I really love sun sticks. I now carry one with me everywhere that I go every single day. So whether I'm in Iceland or Italy or just at home, I am literally always wiping my face with one of these. And so if you open it up, this is a new one, so you can just see the full experience. If you open this up, it almost looks like deodorant, which I know is kind of funny. But you see here, if I don't know if that's gonna be, I have to do that like beauty product thing. I have to TikTokify this video. But yeah, you get the point. So basically it's a stick of sunscreen. Basically, you just put this on your face as you would like a deodorant, but hopefully that doesn't gross you out. It's not deodorant, it's SPF. And so I love this. It fits perfectly into a purse or a backpack. So I think sun care is no joke, and you're always gonna wanna take care of your skin, especially your face, because it's more sensitive. So that's what I've got for you. And then of course you're also going to want to bring some lip balm. I really like Burt's Bees. I've always been a Burt's Bees kind of gal. I have no idea if the ingredients are great or not, but the fact is I've just always bought Burt's Bees. So I'm happy with that lip balm, and I was going through it like crazy in Iceland because it was so dry. Now, one last thing for you. I am going to also recommend, this was not in my original list, but I was looking through my old packing list because I write everything down. And I realized that I had brought this to Iceland. I didn't actually use it, thank God. But there is this one thing that I think is also important, and I feel that I should mention it. A first aid kit. Now, I know that the first aid kit is not exactly like a sexy thing to bring on a trip. When you're packing for Iceland or any other place, you're thinking about your clothes, your camera, your sunscreen, your skincare, etc. And who the heck wants to think about bringing a first aid kit? I know no one does. But here's the thing. Even though no one expects to use this, and hopefully you never have to, it's just something that's great to have, worst case scenario. And because Iceland is quite remote, you might be driving in certain areas that are in the middle of nowhere, and there's no gas station and there's no people living there, and you might not see a house for like miles. In that kind of situation, if something bad were to happen, hopefully it doesn't. If it just gives you peace of mind, then the first aid kit has already done its job. But I've brought it with me to a bunch of different trips, and I think I've like used a couple of band-aids here and there, but still, it has made me feel better to have it just in case. So that's all I've got for you today. I am super excited for you if you're planning to go to Iceland. Like I told you at the beginning of this video, it was one of my favorite countries I've ever been to. So please let me know in the comments what your plans are, your itinerary, if you're excited to go, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them if I can. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.